Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some simple strategies for creating perspective in a work of art. And perspective is defined in art as a method used to create the illusion of depth on a flat surface, like a drawing or a painting. We've practiced using a one-point perspective in our 3D fragment drawing, and that was to create a sense of depth or an object in 3 dimensions. Now we're going to be thinking about some more simpler strategies called overlapping, size, location, and then lines. And we'll start with overlapping. Overlapping is when you create the sense of an object being in front or behind another object in a picture. So simply put, we can start with drawing a circle. And it doesn't need to be a perfect circle. And then we want to think about how we can draw a square behind that circle to start creating a sense of 3 dimensions. And one way to do it is to lightly draw your square so that it looks like it's going through the circle. And then what you can do is erase the line where it goes through the other shape. And then that creates a sense that these lines are stopping and starting and going behind the circle. Now you can also start and then stop your shape as well as it encounters the lines of the other shape. And then also, if you want to create a sense of separation or depth, you can use specific colors to help you do so as well. So maybe I'll make my circle red, and I'll shade it in with just a few parallel lines. And then I'll use maybe a blue for my square, and also use some lines to help emphasize that it is behind. Notice how I'm stopping or starting my lines right at the edge of the other shape to help emphasize that sense of the red circle being in front of the blue triangle. Now, another thing we do to create a sense of perspective is we might manipulate or change the size of one shape versus another. So I'll draw my circle and try to draw it the same size as the one in the previous square. And now I'll think about my square, and I'm going to draw my square a lot smaller. So I'm going to draw my square much smaller. Now we know that when we look at objects in the distance as they get further away, that helps us know that, or as they get further away, they get smaller. So that helps us understand that since I see that this square is smaller and I have experience in real life, that helps my eye and my brain recognize that, oh, in this picture, the square is supposed to be further away than the circle. And once again, you can use color to help emphasize those differences. And I'll just continue using my red for the circle, and my blue for the square. Now, a third strategy is location. In certain traditions in art, especially Eastern traditions, they wouldn't change size so much. They didn't employ one-point perspective as much. What they would do is they would put one object higher in the picture plane than another object. So I'll draw a circle a little smaller, and then I'll draw a square a similar size but higher up in the picture plane. And so this is a way that artists through history have also communicated depth by creating one object a little bit higher within the picture, which helps people understand that that object is supposed to be slightly further away than the object lower in the picture plane. And the fourth strategy for perspective is how we can use lines. So here I'll draw my circle, And then I'll draw a square. Now, instead of using colors to differentiate these two, I'll actually get out a darker, bolder mark-making tool. And I'll go around the circle with a bolder line, a darker line. And what the dark line does is visually, it pops out a little bit more. It makes one think that this is a little bolder, so it must be a little closer in the picture. Now we also use horizon lines, and those are lines that go across the page that show distance. And so I could use a horizon line going across my size drawing, stopping and starting behind the circle. And since the horizon line is going through the circle but underneath the square, that helps us understand also that this object is a little bit closer than this object. We could also use a horizon line in our location drawing as well to help us understand that this object is a little bit closer than this object. So we've devised throughout history one-point perspective, but these are strategies that led up to that discovery, and simple strategies that you can use in any composition to create a sense of depth. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep drawing. Bye.